Good evening, everybody, and welcome here to race number 4 of the 2025 edition of the WRA Oreo Cup Series, getting set for tonight's running of the Toyota Owners 480 laps about to get underway here this evening. The points leader, S Askraov, is on the pole position. She's looking to continue to build her momentum after a very good opening 3 races to her season. Of course, we will see her finish off the Diva Truck Series before she'll be focusing full time on this series for the rest of the season, other than the PCS stuff coming up in 2025. Alongside is Leo Hill, who raced his way in via the Go or Go Home session. He is 30th in the points table, critical 30th in the points. Ian Griffith is in row number 2 in the 47 machine. He dropped 11 spots down to 22nd in the points table. And alongside of him is baby CJ Bracken, who comes into this race in the 31st position of points. He dropped 6 spots after last week's race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. As you look at the rest of the starting lineup, there you see the Go or Go Homers that raced their way in via the Go or Go Home qualifying session earlier tonight. And while the field is rolling off, we'll tell you who's the top 10 in the points. S Askraov, as I mentioned, is the points leader by 4 points over S Ard. S is also the rookie points leader, as you see the 42 cars that have rolled off. N Crenshaw is third in the standings. She's second in the Rookie of the Year standings, 6 points back of S Askraov. Cody Smart, the Daytona 500 winner, is 13 points back in fourth. Maddie Crenshaw, 14 points back in fifth. 16 back, Nathan Fryman in sixth. M Maricci is seventh. William Ayers, 23 points back in eighth. Eric Monaco in ninth. And Skylar Taylor jumped 12 spots up to 10th in the standings. Getting ready for 80 laps of racing here tonight. The green flag is in the air. The Toyota Owners 400 is underway. Everyone has taken the start, so that means no restarts and all that. So that is very good news indeed. Shyla will lead the first lap. That's a critical bonus point for her because remember, she's yet to find victory lane. Ian Griffith right now in second. Looks like Leo Hill and Kyler Anderson the top 4 in the early stages of this race. Going to probably spend most of TV2, because that TV1 angle going into 3 is not really good. Ian Griffith trying to get around the Alloy Chevrolet out of Colleague Racing. This is the full-time entry for that uh, 16 bunch. Shyla Askarov will turn 19 when this series returns from the winter break. She'll have her 19th birthday on January. Let me look at the calendar here real quickly. She will turn 19 on January 8th, which will be the 6th race on the season. So that will be a very nice little present, which I know everybody in the drivers' meeting will be grateful to celebrate her birthday. Of course, she is the only driver. She is she is from Kyrgyzstan, the only Kyrgyzstan driver we have in this series, let alone in the NR community, because I do not remember if there's anybody that has had a driver out of Kyrgyzstan. So, Shyla Askarov, former GTSRA driver, just like Elena Aurora and Venko Seaman and Ponzo Albanese, which we will see those two later on in the season, as Ian Griffith under a challenge by Leo Hill. Impressive run for Leo Hill, a go-or-go homer. Kyler Anderson fourth. Geisha Racing making his debut in fifth. Of course, he had to start the rear because Daniel Voiles, who qualified this car, made sure Geisha Racing got a little bit comfortable. And of course, debut race for Honda Accord. Until Geisha sends me the car that he's going to run for the rest of the season, this is the temporary car that Geisha will run for the time being. This is a double X car that was painted by Mark Gaines. I'm good friends with him in double X. If you don't know who Mark Gaines is, he's also one of the people I talked to from the FANSA server. CJ Bracken. There's a couple of PCSRA drivers. Courtney Lynn, Maddie Crenshaw. There's William Ayers, complete William Ayers, and Scarlett Wallace making her first start of the year. Scarlett, we have not seen her since the Foster Series with this mod. Scarlett Wallace had a dismal season last time we saw her. Finished way down in the full-time point standings, so she will look to redeem herself this time around. As Geisha is underneath Ian Griffith, or Leo Hill, excuse me. Ian Griffith's under contest by Kyler Anderson. And while that's all going on, Shyla Askraov just continuing to enjoy the clean air in that number 16 machine out in front. Let's check the back of the field here. Jesse Art back here with Brooke Packett. Jared Johnson, the rookie, in that Sunny D Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Not the runs he was hoping for. Same with Daytona 500 champion Cody Smart. Jackie Ting's also back here at the rear of the field, and so is William Davis. Jackie Ting 42nd in points. That's not where he needs to be. William Davis 13th in the points. That's a car who's running well in points. Of course, this is the same. This 3 car won in real life at Richmond in the Cup Series earlier in 2024, but had their playoff deal revoked. So William Davis trying to make sure that he will make sure he does a lot better than Austin Dillon. Not trying to make any puns or anything like that, but he's got his work cut out. There's Nathan Fryman, Skylar Taylor, and there's the guy who's trying to run down Shyla Askarov for the points lead, Sean Art. He's back here in 31st. He came as race second in the points. William Davis needs a good run. There's third in points and second of the Rookie of the Year standings, Annie Crenshaw. She's the gal who's trying to run down Shyla Askarov, not just for the points lead, but for the Rookie of the Year honors. And she's back here at the rear of the field. And I noticed the car on the bottom that was off the pace. I think that was Jesse Art. No, it wasn't. As we're back up here with Shyla Askarov, enjoying that clean air. We're also into a long green flag run. Need to actually see what fuel I put it on. I think I have it on ×2, I want to say. Hold on. I think I have it on ×2. I could be wrong. Well, if we get a caution, then we'll see what I have it on. But I have a feeling I have it on ×2. Which, if that is indeed the case, then fuel mileage could come into play, which normally doesn't come into a play on a short track, but it is what it is. Don't think I mentioned this, but baby CJ had a belated birthday. He had, I believe it was a couple of weeks ago, right before the series had the November holiday break. There's Brooke Packett, Annika. Is that Annika? Yeah, that's Annika Ricci. Jesse Art. Betty Johnson making her first start on the season. Annie Thomas, we saw her at Atlanta. Let's actually go on board with Betty Johnson so we can show you what the traffic looks like as we're a fourth of the way through this race. Betty Johnson, we have not seen her since the Monster Energy series, the final Monster Energy series on this channel. That's definitely what traffic can do, especially on a short track. Back up front with S Askraov, like I said, came in this race as the points leader. She's just minding her P's and Q's. Pretty soon she'll be starting to think about lap traffic coming into play. Check from the rear camera of the 16 to the 51. Shyla is just trying to make sure she just minds her business, just make sure that her car is really good enough on the long run. Sorry, that's not rear. There we go. Let's put it back on TV too. She's really doing a very good job just holding off Kyler Anderson, and that's also Geetja Racing, who's up here in the second position. Remember how to start the back in a driver change, and Geetja has already clawed his way up into the second position. Geetja Racing, a rookie on this channel, S Askraov. We've seen her in the Diva Truck Series, driving the number 36 machine. Same ride she'll be racing in the Craftsman Truck Series starting next season. Let's pull up our motorsports calendar on this channel coming up. The races we got coming your way fairly soon, as I'm going to exit out of a race I was just watching before I started recording this race. Today is the 11th. Tomorrow we're off to Kansas Speedway, or I will be off to Kansas Speedway, as I will get ready to call the Diva Truck Series, the Diva Bush Series, and the Diva Cup Series from Kansas Speedway. Next week, we'll have our final race for the Red Bull GT Series, which is going to be at Milwaukee. This series will be at Phoenix next week. It'll be a 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, as we'll race from the desert of Phoenix International Raceway. We'll have go home qualifying at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The race will be at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Hope you will join us for that. And then we will have the Diva Bush and Cup from Papyrus Motorsports Park, which, by the way, these drivers will be racing at soon, so that would be cool. That is what we have next week. The following week, we are going to be off for the Christmas stuff, the Christmas New Year's stuff on the channel. Oreo and Red Bull will be off. We'll have the Diva stuff. We'll have Diva Trucks, Bush, and Cup coming your way from Texas. Then we'll have Diva Bush and Cup from Watkins Glen International Raceway. And then our 14th race for the Red Bull GT Series on January 6th at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time from Chicagoland Speedway, Kyle Langland's home race. And then for this series, we'll have our first road course race from Sonoma Infineon Raceway, which go home qualifying will take part at noon Eastern Standard Time. Then we'll have the green flag at 3 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you'll join us for a fun race out at Sonoma. That'll be our first road course race. We're gonna have a lot of road course ringers in that series, or in the go or go home session. And who knows? Maybe we may have the don't know if we're gonna have the 50 Toyota SXC from 2311 Racing or the Team Amerivic car. We'll have to wait and see. During the midway point of tonight's race, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Of course, we will be back next week at Phoenix for the final race before the holiday break. That's something we're definitely looking forward to. Just past the halfway point of tonight's race. Looks like Scarlett Wallace underneath Beach Racing for second. Great run for Scarlett Wallace, making her first start on the season. Tyler Anderson in fourth, rounding out the top five is Y Ayers, Ian Griffith, Quentin Moore, Eric Monaco, another go-homer, along with Leo Hill, who fell down to ninth, and Courtney Lynn has worked her way up into the top 10. In the test race I did, we had 4 cautions. So far, we're having a nice, clean run. That is really good. And we're being told the 31 car is out of the race. That is Annika Ricci. So something must have happened to the 31 car. Tough break for her. That should be a nervous wreck for Shyla Askraov, knowing her teammates out. But what we're going to do is, while Shyla Askraov currently leads and we're still green, let's jump back, look at a replay to find out what happened to Annika Ricci, as we're already past the halfway point here in the Toyota Owners 400. Here's what happened to Annika Ricci. This is back on lap 33-34. And she comes off of turn number 4. There it goes. Something let go on the back of the Circle Chevrolet. Jesse Art does a great job missing the 31. Same with Evan Maricci. I think Betty Johnson's going to be the one that's going to run to the back of the 31, I think. Yep. Right there. Gives her a little bit of a nudge. Sends the 31 in the wall. How that was not a caution, I don't know, because you have almost the entire race car on the racing line, which is a little bit surprising. So that is a tough break for Annika Ricci. And because that was towards the rear of the field, WRA officials did not throw a caution for that. That is a tough break for the 31 machine. And Annika Ricci, who came into this race as I look for her in the standings, she came as race 24th in the points. This was definitely not the result that she was hoping for. So that was what happened to Annika Ricci. Let's go back to live action here at Richmond. Welcome back, everybody. We just had a lead change while we were looking at a replay. Scarlett Wallace has now taken the race lead from Shyla Askarov, who's led a good part of this race. Even if Scarlett Wallace goes to victory lane, I don't think this will count for a spot into the playoffs, because she's already missed more races. And now Shyla Askarov now under attack by Geecha Racing, and also Eric Monaco's up to 4th. And remember, S Askraov is the points leader coming into this race. The good news for Shyla, the guy that was trying to run her down for the points lead, 27th, that would be where Sean Art is. And also, Betty Johnson's got a little bit of damage to the front end of her Mobile One Toyota SXE because she was the one who ran the back of Monica Ritchie when we look back at a replay. I'm starting to wonder if we're going to start having pit stops pretty soon. As there's the 33. Of course, 33 has no points entering tonight. Same with the 81. And now Shyla Askraov in danger of losing second to Geetja Racing. Remember, Geetja Racing, since he has not been at every race this season as far as the Go Home is concerned, Geetja Racing is also going to be ineligible to make the playoffs, even if he goes to victory lane, as Marinelli Dillion gets around Askraov. So Askraov went from leading the race to dropping back to fourth and now into the clutches of Eric Monaco. That 16 car is going the wrong way. And now all of a sudden, she's now about to be, as she's struggling, trying to get down to the bottom of the racetrack. I wonder if the car is getting a bit tight or something like that. And she's trying to stay on the bottom. And I think the car is getting a bit tight. So if we have pit stops before this thing is over with, I think they're going to have to make some adjustments to get that car better. Because she was in clean air, and then I believe the tires started to go away. As that was the 71 going underneath the 81 for second. That's Marinelli Dillion. Thank you to Anthony Ritchie for giving me the pronunciation correctly on the 71. Marinelli Dillion dropped 9 spots down to 18th in the points. Marinelli Dillion, who is one of Anthony Ritchie's good friends. And she's having a great start in the number 71 machine. Of course, she's got teammates of Josh Harmon and CJ Bracken. She's the only lady on this team. Just like Scarlett Wallace is the only girl for Richard Childress Racing, because you have William Davis and Dylan Ebrahimian that will race every race, unlike Scarlett Wallace, who will run here, there, and everywhere. And like I said, even if Scarlett Wallace goes to victory lane, I do not think this will put her in the top 30 in the points to have her win count for a spot into the playoffs, because like I said, she's missed too many races this season. This is her first start of the race. We're on race 4 of the championship. Check up on the 16 of Shyla Askarov, who's led the most laps. She's all the way about to fall outside the top 10, and she's continuing to drop back, getting ready to fall in the clutches of Leo Hill, who's only missed one race because he was not entered in the Daytona 500. So who knows what would have happened if he would have been in the 500 to begin with. As Courtney Lynn, there's Quinton Moore, a couple of drivers struggling in the points table. William Ayers, Eric Monaco. Let's see, got to see who is the highest of the Go or Go homers. And it looks like it's Eric Monaco because remember, Remy Crampton failed to qualify. Sam Tenley, for the second week in a row, failed to qualify. Isaac Willis failed to qualify for this race. And Donovan Dixon also DNQ'd this race. Donovan Dixon's actually last in points of the part-time drivers. And of course, we have an interesting scenario here. We have Scarlett Wallace, who's not running every race. So, I mean, even if she wins, it's not going to matter if she's going to make the playoffs or not. Marinelli Dillion, however, is a driver who is running every race this season. If she wins tonight, she would be in the playoffs, providing she remains in the top 30 in the points table. And of course, Eric Monaco, he's also he's also a driver who's also run every race this season in the 44. Of course, he's not failed to qualify for a race this season. Isaac Willis has failed to qualify for a couple of. Sam Tinley, I know, failed to qualify for his second race in a row. Donovan Dixon's DNQ'd two of the first four races this season. The only race he made was Las Vegas, which he got a freebie. And then last week's race at Atlanta. And of course, Leo Hill's another driver who's made, this is his third. He's only made his third race this season. As here comes Marinelli Dillion underneath Scarlett Wallace. This is for the lead of the race. And remember, Dillion, if she wins, would be eligible for the playoffs. And the caution is out. The caution is out for the first time tonight. The last, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, no, Dillion's around. There goes Eric Monaco. Oh, Lena Ricci, sorry. Dillion had to spin the car out trying to avoid an incident, and she's going to lose a lot of positions in doing so. The caution's out for the first time tonight. Scarlett Wallace has got damaged, the leader. Oh, boy. Who was involved? Daniel Witter was in this? Wow. How things, Betty Johnson's involved. Scarlett Wallace is done for the night. And that's going to turn the race lead over to Geisha Racing. We're going to be inside a 10 to go. Now the question is, will we have fuel issues? That's going to be something we'll have to answer in a moment, but we got to jump back and look at a replay to see what happened to bring out our first caution of the race very late here at Richmond. Well, I wasn't expecting this incident. The first caution's out. Looks like Sean Art's second in points turned Reggie Fogelman into Cody Smart. And Cody Smart gets right rear hooked into the wall. Nowhere for Fogelman to go. Cody Smart's car is destroyed. Same with Reggie Fogelman. Cody came in this race running well in points. That was not what he needed. And Reggie Fogelman was another driver running well in points. 15th in the points to be exact. As that was happening, Brooke Package trying to avoid, and Betty Johnson just runs into the front end of the Freightliner Ford Mustang Dark Horse. And see, here's Scarlett, as we just missed this thing. Okay, there we go. There's Dillion, gets Eric Monaco. And right here, 33 thought she could make it and just couldn't slow down and runs in the back of the Mobile One Toyota of Daniel Witter. And Scarlett Wallace's day is done. There's Geisha Racing going through the grass as everybody's trying to avoid the Focus Health Chevrolet, trying to get back going. But what a tough break for Marinelli Dillion. Looked like she might have had a chance to go for the lead. Unfortunately, she's got a torn up race car. As the first caution's out, let's jump to the restart here at Richmond. Getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing on lap number 74 of 80 would give us a total of 7 to go. 6 laps to go. Geisha Racing's leading. William Ayers in second. Quentin Moore third. Courtney Lynn fourth. Alina Ricci fifth. Ian Griffith sixth. Seventh is Shyla Askraov, our pole setter. Leo Hill eighth. Ninth, Kyler Anderson and Summit Oskin will complete the top 10. Drivers out after this incident. Annika Ritchie, forgot to mention, was checked and released from the care center, so she's okay. Betty Johnson's out. Tough break for a go or go homer. Cody Smart is out of the race. Reggie Fogelman's out of the race. And Scarlett Wallace. What could have been for that 33 team out of the race will end up 38th and not going to victory lane. What a tough break for that machine. As we're back to green, Quentin Moore just got around W Ayers for the second position. We talked about Marinelli DeLeon was trying to get by the 33. Now Quentin Moore's got a chance to take the lead, as we're going to have 5 laps to go next time by, as the Margaritaville Ford Mustang Dark Horse trying to take the lead. Q-Man, as we call him, from Tennessee, as he's got the 81. 5 to go here at Richmond. What a job by Quentin Moore getting around the Jelly Belly Honda Accord. W Ayers now working on the 81 for second. He's got his teammate Courtney Lynn right behind him. There she is in the Liberty University Camaro. Couple of Hendrick drivers running very well in the points. W Ayers top 10 in the points. Courtney Lynn comes into this race. Let me see where Courtney Lynn is. I believe she is solid in the points. She's 17th in points. Still a good result from her. Quentin Moore leading now with 3 to go. Be 2 laps to go next time by. Quentin Moore would love to go to victory lane to give Front Row Motorsports their first win on the season in the Oreo Cup Series. Two to go for Quentin. Next time by, we'll see the white flag. Does W Ayers have anything for the 34? Here we go. White flags in the air. Final lap here at Richmond. Quentin Moore, the race leader here. It's not over yet. Ford trying to go 4 for 4. And it looks like that's going to be the case. Quentin Moore is going to win at Richmond International Raceway here in the Toyota Owners 400. And what a well-needed run for a driver who came into tonight's race 35th in the points. This will no doubt put Quentin Moore in the top 30 in points. And can he stay in the top 30 in the points to have this win count for a spot into this season's Oreo Cup Series chase for the championship? Well done, Q-Man. Take a bow, young man. Standings are indeed official. W Ayers will get Rookie of the Race as he'll finish in second. Well done for him. He was top 10 in the points. He'll stay in the top 10 in the points. His teammate Courtney Lynn, 17th, was outside the top 16. She'll be inside the top 16 leaving tonight. So great run for the Hendrick drivers. Geecher Racing, go or go homer, 4th place for him. Good job to him. Lena Ricci, we didn't talk much about Alina Ricci tonight. We saw her sister got involved in a wreck. She comes home in 5th. Good run for Alina Ricci. Alina came into this race 23rd in the points, so this is a well-needed run for the 11 team. Jared Johnson will get 6th. Jared Johnson came into this race in I think it was somewhere down near the bottom of the points table. No, he was 25th in the points, lost 7 spots. He'll gain those spots back up. S Askraov led the most laps. Well, have to settle for 7th. But remember, the good thing is she came in this race as the points leader. So all hope is not lost for Lynn. I know she's disappointed and probably got a tear coming down her eye because I know Cody Smart's going to yell at her for you blew it, obviously. Kyler Anderson will get 8th, Chris Washer 9th, and Marinelli DeLeon. What could have been a great day for her and for Spire? Well, she'll have to settle for 10th position. But you know what? It's still a good points day. Nevertheless, it could have been so much worse for Marinelli DeLeon, who came in this race 18th in the points. So she was another driver outside the top 16. Kyler Anderson came into this race 19th in the points. So a couple of drivers outside the top 16 had some good runs here tonight. And Chris Washer came into this race 40th in points. That's a driver who really needed a good run so far. Top 15 were completed by Ian Griffith, Leo Hill, Matty Crenshaw, Samad Oskin, and baby CJ Bracken. As you look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, a lot of drivers who came in running well in points going to really take some hits. Sean Art, 29th, came as race second in points. He was trying to run down Shyla Askarov for the points lead. And I'm looking for Annie Crenshaw. She's 19th, came as race third in the points and second in the Rookie of the Year standings. Skylar Taylor, 10th in points, came home in 30th. That's a big hit for her. Let's see. Evan Maricci came as race top 10 in the points. Disappointing 34th place finish. Let's see. Anybody else inside the top 10 in points that was running well? Nathan Fryman, 22nd. Not the run he was hoping for. He was top 10 in the points. Daniel Witter was the last car to finish on the lead lap. Nobody finished a lap down or more. And 5 drivers only finished out of the race. Scarlett Wallace, Reggie Folkman, Cody Smart, Betty Johnson due to our only incident. That's a shame for Scarlett Wallace because that could have been her ticket in the All-Star race. Instead, she's going to end up in 38th. And then Annika Ricci, not sure what kind of mechanical problem she had on that 31 team, but it was more than enough after Betty Johnson ran the back for her. I bet these two will probably, Betty Johnson didn't mean to wreck Annika Ricci, but nevertheless, Annika Ricci, not sure what the mechanical problem that took her back behind the wall, but that's a tough break for her in tonight's race. Well, I can tell you this. Shyla Askrov's going to keep the points lead no matter what. The question is, who's going to be the guy or gal that's going to try to run her down for the points lead, and not just the overall points, but the rookie points? We're going to have to wait and see when we head to next week at Phoenix International Raceway. But that is going to do it from tonight here at Richmond International Raceway. Congratulations to Q-Man. Has he got himself in the top 30 in points to have his win tonight count for a playoff berth? We're going to have to find that out at the same time as you do. Thank you all for joining me for tonight's race here at Richmond. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the PCSRA and WRA crew today. We've shown your full finisher results. Your point standings are down in the description heading into next week at Phoenix International Raceway. It's our last race before the holiday break where these drivers will spend time with their families and all that good stuff. And then we're back in January to do the resumption of the Oreo Cup Series at Sonoma Raceway. Hope you'll join us for that. Until then, I've been D Ebrahimian signing off. Good night from Richmond, everybody. We'll talk to you next week at Phoenix as you've been watching another broadcast of the WRA Oreo Cup Series on the PCSRA Sports and Gaming Channel and the WRA, the greatest racing on Earth since 2013 and the best in our racing since 2017. Good night from Richmond, everybody. We'll see you next week at Phoenix.